Hi, I'm Alan Dale from Gale Force Winds, and I got to tell you what a pleasure it has been to be in conversation with the good people here at Computek in Toronto, Ontario. What a great day I've had. What a great team of people that I've met here. People that are truly making a difference in each other's lives and in others' lives, and then on to the broader community. And it's on that point I'd like to start the conversation. Community is very important to Computek, not only their own community at home here, but the broader community and where they find themselves here in Scarborough and within Canada. Talk to me about the importance of community to you.
Community, Alan, is at the heart of everything that we do, and I think you just got a glimpse of that in your day here today at Computek, here at our campus here in Scarborough. Everything that we've done, whether it is looking at our students, looking at the value that we bring to them in terms of the training, in terms of employment matching, or even in the kind of work that we do broadly in community, it's always through the lens of what is ultimately the role of the student. We are creating, we're taking in students, and we are hopefully making them good citizens at the end of the day, which is why I think, as some of my colleagues may have touched on, we just don't provide your regular diploma programs. We're layering in financial training, civic engagement, all these kinds of things that make them well-rounded Ontarians, well-rounded Canadians at the end of the day. So community is everything for us.
You know, and your ability to collaborate with the broader ecosystem here, listen to their needs, whether that's community, industry, government.
Yes.
And respond to them in an innovative and an agile manner so that we can solve problems together. Talk to me about the innovative approach.
Absolutely. So, you know, I think I must be very clear on this point, Alan. The career colleges sector in Canada is something that we can be very proud of. There is no other sector, with all due respect to our wonderful colleagues in the public component of PSC sector, but the career colleges are especially well placed to be very nimble and very agile and also test out innovative ideas. So for us, like, you know, what other institutions or other industries may think is, you know, this is a big process, consultations. For us, it's in our DNA. That's how we run our programs, whether it is the way we design our programs through our PAC committees, or whether we have industry roundtables, or whether we come up with ways in which we can partner with community stakeholders. Being agile is something that we have to be in this day and age, and I truly believe that the career colleges sector, especially in Canada, is well primed to do that, and it is my sincere hope that policymakers and the decision makers see that huge, immense, and yet to be untapped potential of career colleges and really keep expanding that scope in the years to come. We have a big role to play in addressing so many different challenges that face us as Canadians, whether it's affordability, whether it's the market, the economy, whether it's jobs. And I think as a sector that is at the forefront of looking at the amount of talent that's coming in, we are well placed to really understand their needs and help them plug into the ways that ultimately benefit all of us as we become a stronger and competitive country.
Let's come down from that 30,000-foot view and come down to a more personal level here at Computek. When a student, when a person who's perhaps new to our country had the courage to come here and now is facing all of these challenges to try to figure out a path for themselves, a new path, Computek has a way to embrace them immediately. I want you to talk to me about the warm embrace.
Yes.
When a student comes here and decides that they're going to make a shift in their career, they've had the courage to maybe move to this country, and now they're facing all of these obstacles, barriers, real or perceived.
Yeah.
But Computek has a way to open their arms, take them in. Talk to me about that.
Thank you for that question, Alan. I think this is what, you know, Murali Srinaran, my business partner, refers to as the secret sauce of Computek. I think, you know, part of why it has worked really well for us is because of the diversity of people that work at Computek. And I do not mean that in just diversity of religious backgrounds or ethnicities or cultures, but diversity in terms of the multi-generational team that we have at Computek, diversity in terms of the kinds of professional experiences and backgrounds we come from. Murali was somebody who was brought up in business, but somebody like me or our VP of Finance, for example, our VP of Finance, for example, spent 40 years in the public service, managed billion-dollar budgets at the Ministry of Health in the Government of Ontario. I worked for 15 years in the Ontario Public Service as well. So we have different perspectives. So there is a policy perspective, there is the sector perspective that people like Noli bring. So having that continuum of perspectives when we look at what can we do for newcomers, it can be a very powerful combination. So that diversity of perspective is one reason. The second reason is, and this is very important, almost every single member of the leadership team and a large number of our staff, this isn't some issue happening somewhere that we can't quite relate to who's coming in. Every single, and I'm not being, I'm not just saying this for the camera, the reason I joined Computek, when I first came as a friend, I saw these middle-aged women sitting in the hallway. Every single one of them reminded me of my mother, my late mother, who was a lawyer, could not find a job for the life of in Canada, and had to do odd kinds of things. So there is a direct lived experience that each one of us carry. So that person sitting across from us is not just a student, not just a lead. They literally, in some instances, have actually been related to somebody that we eventually found out. So that it is that connectivity with deep roots in the community, to go back to your original question. These are the ways in which I think that embrace that you speak of, it's not something that we have to work too hard at. It is natural, it is genuine, it is empathetic, and I think the results speak for themselves.
Well, that's a beautiful way to describe it, and it clearly reflects in the caliber of the staff and the students, and everybody's intertwined here, and they're connected in a different way. This is not transactional in nature. This is a beautiful thing unfolding in front of our eyes. And then when you get the student into the classroom, it's not learning as we know learning. It's a different approach even still. It's more around empowerment.
Correct.
Right? It's a
Yes.
That's different than
Absolutely.
learning, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you can go anywhere and learn
Yes.
and sit in a classroom and get your knowledge. But this is different. This is an empowerment of people. Talk to me about that.
It goes back to the earlier point that I was telling you about, Alan. You're absolutely right. There is the regular programs that we do, as many institutions are doing a wonderful job at. But for us, the empowerment piece comes in, yes, from employment and having sort of the knowledge that their domains require. But we found out that when we bring that additional lens of having, for example, our civic engagement series, where we told them as new Canadians, do you know that you have these rights in this country, that you have a right to vote, that you have to participate in the democratic electoral processes, that do you know who your MPP is, do you know who your MP is, how are you advocating for your interests? We don't tell them who to advocate for or who to advocate against, but to know that they have the power and privilege as new Canadians to do that. A lot of them don't know that, right? They find themselves like in spaces that are unfamiliar, scary. English is not something that easily comes to them. So that kind of empowerment through civic engagement, I can't tell you how much that has helped a lot of our students. The same thing, we ran a financial literacy workshop series with a bunch of different institutional players, including RBC, private equity, REIT companies. Why? Yes, a student coming to us is not maybe ready to look at a real estate investment, but we believe that they will. We have every confidence that every single graduate here who's coming here, working the odd job, trying to study, will one day be amazing contributing citizens, and they are ready to, they will go on to acquire wealth and add value and have their children have wealth, and we want to give them a vision for what they can aspire to, and that empowers them so that they can lift themselves above, you know what, I have to spend this money, I'm driving taxis, and they can rise above that level and start manifesting what the eventual future is going to be. And I think these programs really bring home that point for them very effectively.
You do see how this interface between the person and an institution is very different everywhere else.
Yes.
That's a cold interaction.
Yes.
Normally.
Yes.
what you just described there is not a cold interaction.
No,
It's
no.
a holistic approach.
No, and it comes from the fact that the person sitting across from us at admissions or walking through these halls, that's somebody's mother, that's somebody's nephew, that could be my friend, that could be my friend's mother. It's really that deep, like we are very embedded in the communities we come from, Alan. That's the other thing. Like each one of us in the leadership team have spent years doing community work. So for us, this is more than business, I think. And I know a lot of people say that, which I understand. It is a mandate that we've given ourselves, that we deserve to make this better than how deserve to leave it better than how we found it. And I think that empathy, that sincerity, that wanting to do better, I think comes across quite evident in how we interact with the people who come within our ecosystem, and the kinds of aspirations and hope that we have for the sector generally as well.
You know, we use the term changing lives.
Yes.
You're doing that. There's little doubt about that. Here's a very personal question
Yes.
for you. Has Computek changed your life?
Great question, Alan. 100%. You know, I'll just go on two personal things I'll share with you. As I mentioned, my mother was a professional, wasn't able to do the work that she did for various reasons, including barriers that she experienced as a newcomer, as a woman of color. But I sometimes wistfully think, what if she had known about Computek at that time? And we've been in the community for 35 years, and I've only been in Canada for 25 years. So Computek was there in the community, but my mother wasn't able to, didn't probably know about it. But I wonder how her trajectory would have changed in Canada before she passed away if Computek was there in her life. That's one. The second is, you know, having worked in government as a public policy wonk, looking at different things, you know, you're sitting away in your office making briefing notes and policy submissions. You never understand, you know, what is the impact of these things that I'm looking at. And the biggest thing for me from Computek is I get to have, it's a privilege, I get to have an idea today. I get to come up with a plan in the afternoon. I get to implement that in the evening, and I get to see the outcome tomorrow morning. That I can tell you, Alan, with all due respect to my colleagues in public service, which I hopefully get back to at some point in my future, that is something that I was not able to get in the public service. Certainly that's something that you can get in broad, larger organizations. And there is a culture in Computek where if you have the right ideas, no one here is going to create a bureaucracy around that idea. You have the right to good ideas. You also have the right to do the hard work behind those good ideas, but it's never going to be, oh, you know what, we have never done it that way, or you know what, that's not a good enough idea. No, you'll get the opportunity to test out that idea, and that comes with responsibility. And I think that's been a game changer for Computek, and that's really enriched my life, just generally, even outside of work.
I've had the pleasure to meet some of the team
Yes.
members here. An incredible group.
Thank you.
All in a boat, all rowing together.
Yes.
What does a team mean to you?
Oh wow, these are really good questions, Alan. A team for me, you know, I'm sometimes very blunt. A team is everyone understanding what is the ultimate vision. What is this journey that we're on? What is the size of the boat? How strong are our oars? And us going in that same direction. So to have as clear a playbook, as unified a playbook as possible, and that every single one of them understands that each one of us have a part to play, that no one part is better than the other, that all of us have a part to play. That for me is the definition of the team. And when that comes on the basis of equity, on the basis of fair play, on the basis of shared vision and aspirations, that's when we will get to that destination that we're rowing towards.
When you walk in here in the morning, and clearly you're passionate about what you do, when you walk in here in the morning and you pass these students in the hallway, what do those students mean to you?
Potential. Unrealized potential, that potential in a very specific way, because they are amazing parents, amazing children, amazing neighbors, amazing community members. But there was a part of them that is a hole, if I can put it that way. That hole was very full where they were coming from in other countries or whatever it is. If we can somehow fill that a little bit in the ways that we know how, and we can get out of them that potential and just reflect and be a mirror to that potential, then they have an amazing journey ahead of them. So for me, every single one of them carries with them a spark or a potential that we have the obligation and the responsibility and the privilege of holding a mirror to and giving them some ideas in terms of how they can achieve that potential.
I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to
Thank
thank you for your service to your community,
Thank you.
to your province, and to your country.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alan. Really appreciate it.